to live there, and we went out partying. So it was me, my cousin Rod, and my buddy Kevin, right? Went out partying. End of the night, I'm dropping Kevin home at his mom's place in Montreal, because at the time he was living here in Toronto. So it was right off of DeCarry. So, almost 3:45. I pull up. I had a Honda Civic 2-door. So I pull up. Hey, man, good night. We danced. Yeah. Okay, cool. What we're going to do tomorrow? Okay, I'll call you at this time. We'll do this. So just when Kevin's getting ready to get out of the car, hey, Zolf, one cop car was at it. We were close to an intersection, but I'm parked. So a cop came out, saw us, drove the opposite side, U-turned, came up behind me. Now, keep in mind, I'm in park. He turns around, puts on his lights for 2 seconds. The cops get out. They see 3 of us, goes, calls for backup. Obviously you see him go and grab the radio, right? Kevin's like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know. Now, I never had any part, I've had what, maybe
DWB,
one.
baby.
Yeah.
DW.
Driving while black. Exactly. So we're 3 black guys in the car. When you run the insurance, there's nothing ever wrong with my insurance. My insurance is always paid. The car is paid. There's no warrants for my arrest. I don't live that lifestyle. So there's nothing illegal associated with my name, even to the slightest of maybe 2 speeding tickets years prior. Right? So one car goes up, and they wait. And I see them there, so I'm not moving. And then next thing you know, I see flashing lights coming from all different directions. So flashing lights coming from my right, my left, behind me, in front of me, and they circle in the car. We counted 17 police cars.
Shut up.
The next time my cousin's around, you can ask him.
17 cop cars?
And in Montreal, there's always 2 cops per car. It's not like in the States where it's one-on-one.
That's because you need an IQ of 180 to be in the cop car, so that evens it out.
Yeah, but 17 police cars, right? So that's 34 police officers showing up, all in the car, jumping out, holsters undone, hands on their gun. One cop comes up to me, flashlight, flashes it right in my eyes, because they want to blind you, right? They say, roll down your window. So I open my window about maybe this much. He goes, sir, can you roll down your window? I did. He goes, no, I want you to roll it all the way down. I went, nope. He goes, why not? I go, I don't trust you. He goes, well, what's not to trust? I'm like, okay, well, let's do the math. 17 cars, 34 police officers. Each officer has a gun. Each gun has 6 bullets. So 6 times 34 is how many? Too many for my black ass. Why are you stopping me?
Wow.
I go, why do you, no, I didn't even say why you stopped me. I go, what's the issue? And he's like, well, you stopped here. I went, yeah. He goes, why? I go, because my friend is going home. Where does he live? Right in front of this building that I'm stopped in front of. This is the building. Right here. Oh, okay. Well, then let him out. I went, no. He goes, why not? I go, once again, 34 cops, each with guns. All you have your guns unholstered and ready to shoot. You haven't even told me what I've done. All you said is, I've stopped. You saw me stop. I stopped before you got here. I saw you pull up. You didn't see me pull up. So what is it? Well, we just want to make sure what you guys are doing. Where are you coming from? A club. So what'd you do at the club? Dance. Did you drink? No. How do I know that? I go, well, we've been talking here for a while, so you can smell my breath. There's no alcohol on my breath. There's no weed smoke in this car, because I don't do any of that. I go, you already ran my license plate. You know my name. You know my address. You know my insurance is up to date. There's no parking tickets. There's no speeding tickets. There's no infractions on the car. There's nothing showing up in the system with my name on it. So why do you think I'm going to let my friend come out of this car in this situation? This is my best friend. I don't want anything to happen to him or me. And he goes, okay, give me your license and registration. I went, all right, here's my license and registration. And then another police officer came on the other door, the passenger door, and asked the same thing to my cousin and Kevin. And I'm like, tell them no. And they're looking at me like, what? I go, right? You can ask them. But as they're not the operator of the car, they have the right to say no. Say no. So they're like, well, say no. I go, so I'm telling you right now, my phone is here. I'm going to start dialing. Not even 911. I'm not calling you. I'm calling the CFCF 12, the news station. I'm going to have them send a news crew over here so they can see what is happening. Because you still haven't told me why you've all barricaded me in. And I go, don't tell me I look like someone you have a call that I look like someone because that's bullshit. So why? So they run my plates and everything. They bring it back. They're like, okay, here you go. You're good to go. Okay. Well, you're gonna let your friend out? I went, still no. I'm not letting him out until you all leave. I go, you have to understand, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm a black man with intelligence. I don't trust any of you trigger happy people. So forget it. Fuck it. It's not happening. So they slowly start kind of tapering off. Then there was this, I remember it was a female cop. She was a young one. She turns around, she looks at the back of my car and she goes, oh, we can give him a ticket for that. I go, you ain't give me a ticket for shit. Right? Because my bumper had a slight crack on it.
No, come on. Man, that's horrible.
Not
But
broken.
so during when they had 17 cops come in, wasn't like one of the top ranking officer in the area or something was there?
You think he's any better?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So,
And sorry,
so-
and part of my ignorance, I don't know if you already covered this, but the conversation is happening in French or in English? 'Cause I know
Oh,
you speak
they started in French, but I just spoke English, so they switched to English. We were more English part of Montreal, anyways, right?
Okay, because I know you're bilingual that way, right?
Right. But anytime a cop stops me, I make it hard for them. They start speaking French, I'm going English. So it was literally just when I say a crack, it wasn't like the bumper was falling off. It wasn't like it was cracked in two. It was like a hairline crack. You know when plastic cracks, so you can see it's a little bit uneven, and the crack was maybe this long. Okay, that was it. That was it. You know, so it is, you know, long-winded, but is it touchy when you got to deal with all this stuff, and especially now more so in the States and all that happening? You know, we were talking about the trial because Dave said he was watching it, the George Floyd trial. Yeah. So I said the best thing is to see how this trial ends before I think we tackle it, because it just might be a little bit premature, and everyone's got their ways and curious to see how it's going to turn out. Like, people think it's going to be, you know, the cops are going to get off.
I think they might, because a similar situation in Mississauga happened, and there was a protest. I don't know if you guys heard about it, but there was a protest, and they blocked and then they kept moving the cops were moving the protest line, the peaceful protest line, and they went and then they went crazy, and they blocked the railway tracks, and they had like 17 cars or 20 cars come in, and they were making arrests. Yeah, because so apparently what happened during this George Floyd time, I think literally a couple of weeks in, there were all these stories that were coming up. There was a guy in Mississauga, Ejaz Chaudhry, elderly guy, you know, with mental health issues, and he was tackled by a cop, and he suffocated and passed away.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's at the magnitude at what George Floyd did, but in a similar standings. And they had a trial for that cop, and he was let go.
Yeah.
Wow. That's why the protest happened in Saga and everything. So
yeah,
so here's my question, and again, I've already covered this. But did you face any of this here in Ontario? Because I have a customer who told me he faced it, driving being black. He told me about that.
You know what? And I'll say this: I've never had any issue in Ontario with any police officer. The one time that I've been, all the years I've been living here, the one time I got stopped, I was in the wrong. And he wasn't a dick about it. He wasn't an asshole about it. You know, it's just when they passed that law about driving with your cell phone. Yeah. And I just left work. My wife called me maybe 2 minutes when I was in the car.
You're lucky. The ticket of my wife was $400.
Yeah, I mean, they just passed that law.
And my wife decided to answer the phone outside the house while rolling in the driveway. I was like, could you not just wait? And the kids were calling her.
Urgent. They needed to know the password for the Wi-Fi.
Yeah. The iPad password.
Exactly. No, I honestly, I've never had.
And that fucks up your insurance too.
Yeah. But like Dave, I'm talking when if they passed that law on a Monday, it was Tuesday. Like, and I usually have my Bluetooth earpiece, right? And that's the one time I didn't put it in. Usually I always had it up, and it's like, oh, okay, I'll just pick it up real quick. Let her know I'm on my way. Yeah, I've just left work. I'll be there. Woo! Oh, crap. Cop comes up, and like, you know why I stopped you?
Yeah. Hold on, honey. Somebody wants to talk to you.
and that was it. You know, but he wasn't a dick about it. My ticket was like what, $100 or something like that. So the law just passed. I knew about it coming up. It was my fault. I was wrong. So I'm not going to be a dick about it. And like, yeah, okay. He's like, you should have taken it a lot higher. He goes, you were cool about it. I'm going to give you a break on the price. Here you go. Thank you. Have a good day.
But that's one thing I've noticed in Ontario. Like if you have a conversation with them and you're polite and not be a dick when it's a license registration, so you be like, oh, fuck you. Like they'll if you say, hey man, I'm sorry, can you have a slap on the wrist? They'll be easy on you. They're like, okay, it's genuine. Like the guy's been cooperating. Like
Right.
I have a very funny story. It's not sad, but it's pretty funny. Just picked up Faisal Butt to do my Brown show to go to Milton. You know Faisal Butt, right? The comedian. And he sits in my car and it fucking stank of weed. And I'm like, yo, Faisal, did you smoke up? And he's like, nah, my backpack, my bad. Can I dump it in your fucking trunk? I'm like, yeah, sure, dump it in the trunk.
Right.
Backpack there, do the show, bounce out of there. And we like say goodbye. He's like, hey, I got a ride to go to Toronto. I'm like, cool. He bounces. I'm heading back home. Milton. I think I don't know the road which goes like really deep, like a freaking tunnel.
Yeah.
And the cops are standing there. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And they're like, hey, what's going on? Where are you coming from? I'm like, comedy show. They're like, oh, how was the comedy? And they come in to smell like if you got alcohol breath.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'm like, yeah, the show was really good. He's like, well, cocaine is a hell of a drug. And I was in my head, I was like, oh, he's a Chappelle fan. That's cool. And then he's like, no drugs, nothing. And I'm like, no, why? I don't do that shit. And he's like, the weed smell in your car says something else. And I was like, again, not registering.
Yeah.
That I was like, well, officer, I had some comics from Toronto. They were smoking up earlier. Maybe that's why it stank. But yeah, I don't do that shit. And he's like he's like flashing the lights in my eyes. And I guess he's checking it out. And he's like, ah, cool. So I take off, and then my phone's buzzing off again and again while the cop's talking to me, and I'm like, kept cutting it off, only to find out Faisal left his bag in my trunk. He's like, hey man, can you meet me in Etobicoke and give me my weed? I'm like, I just got stopped by cops. I could have gone to jail.
It's like, how much weed was in that bag? How much weed was in that bag?
Bro, it was like a this big of a packet, bro. I think it was like covering up for a month's supply.
Fuck. Yeah, man, you would have done some time, brother.
Yeah, I've been a gangster, yo.
Your window would have had bars on it.
I'm going to guarantee you weren't wearing your straight out of Burlington shirt.
No, I wasn't.
I have to admit, fucking white tipped shoes.
Yo, I got rid of them, man.
Really?
Nice.
So Dave, with all this funny stories, have you been pulled over? And not because of the race, like any funny story you have?
I've been pulled over many times.
Okay.
Every time I get pulled over, I'm speeding. I know. The best part was I got pulled over one time coming down. I just came off the 427 onto Browns Line. I was going down to Lakeshore. And just, a good song was playing, I guess.
Were you dancing in the car?
No. I was just like, it was like, summertime, the windows are open. Next thing, like fucking Christmas time in the back. And I'm like, how comes up, standard, why I stopped you. I'm like, I'm going to guess it was my speed. And he's like, good guess. I'm like, yeah, I'm smart like that sometimes. He goes, okay, well, license and registration. I'm like, yeah, okay, here you go. Just, I know I'm booked. There's nothing I can do. It was like, I was doing 90 and a 50.
But it doesn't seem that way when you're driving.
Yeah. You've got a really nice car.
So, a couple minutes, I'm sitting there, let it smoke and whatnot. And, I'm just like, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, I'll take it.
I know the drill.
So he comes back to the car and he's like, is this your real name? I'm like, yeah. So, you have a relative that used to work in 23? I'm like, yeah, my dad. It's like, get the fuck out of here. He's your father? I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, he's always been an asshole, so I can just imagine what you're going to say about me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Is he letting me off for insulting my family?
A little bit of both, actually. Gives me my stuff back. He's like, tell your dad I said hi, and if you're going to speed, don't fucking do it in my area. It's like, all right. So, got to where I was going, parked, called my dad, and I'm like, hey, by the way, this guy Ron says hi, and he's like, where the fuck did you see him? And how did he know you were my son? I'm like, well, he pulled me over for speeding. He goes, how much of a ticket did he give you? I'm like, he didn't. He goes, well, I'll call him and fix that. Listen, for Zulf Ali, Barry 3D Carter, I'm your host, Dave Sokolowski. There are a lot of good people out in this world. None of them are on TikTok, but if you can't find one, be one.
Woo-hoo! Yeah!